Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. And now, Tider Insider TV.
Nick Saban is the best coach in college football, but he looks pretty good on the golf course as well. Last week was the Nick Kids golf tournament at Old Overton in Vestavia Hills. The Alabama football coach was out there at the Old Overton Golf Club, knocking it around along with assistant coaches, players, and others close to the Crimson Tide football program, raising money for Saban's signature charity, Nick's Kids. And good evening, everybody. Welcome into Tider Insider TV, presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock. Alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com, I'm Gary Harris, and we're back with Diet Pepsi tonight. You know, Pepsi's a Southern original, and someone last week, we had the Aquafina water, which I love, but he came up to me, he said, man, it just doesn't have the same effect as popping that top. And you hear it right there. Here we go. The signature pop top of a Diet Pepsi, ice cold. So we went back with it tonight. Remember to pick up some great Pepsi the next time you're at your local grocery store. Pepsi is a Southern original from Buffalo Rock. Well, Rodney, the golf tournament was an opportunity, too, for media folks to ask questions. And after Bob Stoops' stunning retirement announcement from Oklahoma, you can bet that Saban was asked about his future in coaching.
I've said this before. I've been a part of a team since I was 9 years old. It scares me to death to figure, you know, what it's going to be like when I'm not a part of a team. As long as I feel good and I'm healthy and I can do it, we certainly have every intention of trying to do it. And if I felt like I couldn't do it to the standard that I want to do it, then I think that would be time not to do it. But I certainly don't feel like that's anytime soon.
And I don't either, and you don't either. We've been consistent saying that we think Coach Saban still got a lot of gas in the tank. But Stoops' announcement is a reminder of the burnout rate sometimes for coaches. Stoops only 56, Saban 65. Will turn 66 on Halloween this year. So you never know. At the same time, I think, Rodney, as questions continue to arise about Nick Saban's future, I think he's going to coach quite a while longer. Just got that contract extension, and I think he's obviously going to finish it out now at Alabama. I think the days of rumors about him going somewhere else are over.
Yeah, well, you know, the rumors that continue, but I don't think that they have any validity at all. Not that they ever really did, but, you know, it seems like something crops up all the time. But, you know, Bob Stoops was there 18 seasons? So he was there quite a while. You don't see that length of a tenure very, very often. You know, there was a lot of people that said when Nick Saban took this job, he'd be here, what, 3 or 4 years? Yeah,
and look at this. I mean, this is how time flies. You know, he now at 10 years, going into his 11th season, is the longest tenured coach post-Bryant, by far, because Stallings with 7 seasons was the previous longest tenured coach. And let's say he does coach another 6 or 7 seasons. I've brought up the possibility, Rodney, that he could get to 300 wins at the clip he's winning games at right now. How big of an accomplishment would that be?
Huge. I mean, when you're talking about, again, speculation, but if you look forward to that and he gets 300 wins, he's got, what, 5 national championships now. He could be the all-time leader in that regard once he wraps it up. So, man. But again, right now we're where we are, and I think, like you said, Gary, he's got a lot of energy. He looks really good, and he's really motivated. He's continuing to stay on the recruiting trail, so he's got some time.
Yeah, if you love what you do, they say that it isn't work. And certainly I don't think this is a job for Nick Saban. It is a passion. And like you said, he's really good at it. So, you know, what's he going to do if he quits coaching football? I don't even think he wants to think about that. All right, at the golf tournament, Saban also answered questions concerning the status of sophomore defensive back Deontay Thompson. Thompson was arrested in the spring for assault, but Saban said that he's currently back with the team. Nothing has developed legally since the arrest, and Saban said in reference to the circumstances, quote, it seemed like a whole lot of nothing, unquote. And as one player returns to the squad, another announces that he is leaving. Redshirt defensive tackle O.J. Smith announced on Twitter last week that he will be transferring from Alabama to another school. Smith thanks Saban and the rest of the coaches along with all of his teammates. He's the second player to announce a transfer this month, joining backup linebacker Sean Jennings. And some good news regarding a former Alabama player The San Francisco 49ers signed linebacker Reuben Foster to a 4-year contract last Friday. Foster was the second of 2 first-round draft picks by the 49ers. And the Cleveland Browns have signed former Alabama wide receiver Richard Mullaney after originally being signed by the Texans as an undrafted free agent last year and spending a little time with the Cowboys in training camp. He did not play last season, so he technically is a first-year player at Alabama. That 1 year after transferring from Oregon State, he had a very productive year, 38 catches, 390 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I'd love to see him stick with the Browns. Well, Rodney, we're just getting cranked up good. Still to come on Tider Insider Television as the new head coach comes in for Alabama baseball. Some top signees might be leaving. Updates on the Major League Draft coming up, and the 2018 recruiting class for Alabama football starting to build up some steam. We'll discuss a commitment from a top linebacker out of the state of Georgia. That could just be the first of many. And also coming up, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. As always, the phone number 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. You can email us at the address on your screen, or you can tweet at us. Make sure you use that hashtag TITV so Brandon and Bethany will see it. And we're going to get you on the air when we come back here as the Alabama Insider Show that you've known for so long. Tider Insider TV will continue right after this.
I've been waiting on this moment since I was a little kid. It's such a blessing to have this opportunity. The school I'm choosing today is the perfect fit for me and my family. It's the place that's going to push me to my limits and make me great. Roll Tide.
And welcome back to Tider Insider TV. Alongside Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. The Crimson Tide added to its 2018 recruiting class with a commitment from 4-star linebacker Quay Walker out of Georgia. Walker from Crisp County High School in Cordell committed to the Tide through a video produced by SEC Country. You just saw it right there. He chose Alabama over SEC rivals Auburn, LSU, Florida, and South Carolina. He's the 11th ranked outside linebacker according to 24/7 Sports Composite Poll, and the third commitment in Alabama's 2018 class. And Rodney, the thing you and I discussed him on my radio show earlier this week that you like about him is versatility. He's that new wave linebacker, about 6'4", 220, can play inside, can play outside, and that's what you're looking for now against these spread offenses.
Yeah, very athletic, great pass rusher, had 8 sacks last year as a junior, and one of the top linebackers not only in the state of Georgia but also in the country, Gary. And you know, when you look at him, he's a guy that, as you mentioned, he's got the frame. He's close to 6'4". He's got the frame to fill out and get bigger. Really fits the mold of what they've been looking for, and again, just an outstanding pickup in this class.
No doubt about it, and trying to build a little momentum, as you again pointed out to me on my radio show earlier this week. It's kind of by design that the numbers are down a little bit. This is a important class for Alabama, but it's also one where numbers are tight, plus you've got the December signing period. Alabama's in no rush to fill up right now. Yeah,
I think there's some fans that have been concerned about, Alabama now only having 3 commitments, but I don't think it's really anything to be concerned about. I think that the plan all along has been to be a little bit more methodical this year. You mentioned the numbers are down. They're only going to sign 22 in this particular class. So, it's really nothing to be concerned about. Alabama's in on a lot of really outstanding players.
All right, the Major League Baseball first-year players draft is underway, Rod. So far, there are no current Alabama players that have been taken, but a pair of highly touted Crimson Tide signees have been chosen early on. In the very first round, with the 26th overall pick, McGill-Tulin's Bubba Thompson was drafted by the Texas Rangers. Thompson committed to the Tide in February after previously committing to Auburn, but now with over $2 million expected for a signing bonus based on his draft slot, the outfielder is expected to sign with the Rangers. We'll see what happens. Also chosen in the third round, another highly touted Bama signee, Jacob Heatherly, a left-handed pitcher, taken number 77th overall by Cincinnati. He is out of Coleman High School. He is hit 96 on the gun. So that's what happens when you sign these highly touted guys. You have to worry about the draft. And Alabama head coach Brad Bohannon potentially can lose these 2 key commits for the Tide. As I said, we'll have to see what happens. But he's gained 2 new coaches already. He has wasted no time putting together his staff. Bohannon hired Florida Atlantic pitching coach Jason Jackson for the same position. You saw him earlier. Here is also Louisiana Tech hitting coach Jerry Zulli. He comes over, and with a brand new coaching staff, Bohannon knows he is in for some rebuilding time, but he's more than ready to tackle it head on.
There are some really good pieces in place here, and we've got so much to sell. I walk around here and I see our ballpark, I see our campus. I know what Alabama football and that experience is. And I'm like, hey, we can get some good baseball players here. This is a program that's been to the College World Series. This is a program that's had 66 Major League Baseball players. So it can be done here.
Let me bring you in for your thoughts. I like the fact that he's already referenced Alabama football. I interviewed him on the radio on Monday, and he mentioned that a lot. He mentioned the history, tradition. But the thing that you notice, high energy, recruiter. He hired 2 young high-energy coaches that are recruiters. Obviously, they're going to hit the road and try to get this talent level up in a hurry.
Yeah, and I think, his track record, Gary, being very successful as a recruiter. I think he's obviously really well known out there among high school coaches, among high school players. Got a great reputation. Got great relationships with a lot of these high school coaches. I think that's a key. You mentioned the other guys that he's hired that have some really good reputations as well as recruiters. And again, I think that's part of it. You have to have players, and I think he'll do an outstanding job getting them. He's done it everywhere he's been.
That's where it all starts. You've got to get the players in here. But I like his attitude, and I think he's going to fit in well here at Alabama. And again, you saw the pictures there with Nick Saban. It's always good to be seen with Nick Saban when you're a coach at Alabama. All right, coming up on TITV, a strong performance by the Alabama track and field teams at the NCAA Championships. We'll have the details. And next, listen, I know it's that time of the year. It's June. You're thinking about listening to Sills and Crofts. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, sitting out on the front porch. But you need to be calling in TITV because we have an opening for you right now, 205-348-9882. Phone lines are open, so get through. We'll take some phone calls, some emails, and some tweets when we come back to the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide, the award-winning Tider Insider TV. Coming back after this timeout. Records were broken, All-Americans named, and Alabama finished the track and field season strong at the NCAA Championships last week in Eugene, Oregon. The men's team finished 10th place overall, while the women's 4x100 team had a record-breaking performance and gained a silver medal. Football star Tony Brown was a second-team All-American in the 100-meter dash and 4x100 relay. And he's a big man, so that's impressive when a guy that's over 200 pounds can run with some of those sprinters. All right, Rodney, you ready to head to the phone lines? All right, we got some folks who want to talk some softball. Bama Raj is first up tonight. Hey, Bama Raj, what's on your mind?
Hello, Gary. Welcome back. I haven't talked to you all since the beginning of the football season.
Oh, good to hear from you, my friend.
Welcome back, and I hope you don't have any more issues with your vocal cords. Missed you on the SEC Network with Danae Hayes. Thank you and Rodney for bringing us Tider and Cider. For individuals, listeners and all, if you don't have Tider and Cider, give it for Father's Day or for your grandfather or birthday, or like my sister and brother-in-law did 12 years ago from Christmas present.
I hear you.
But softball, Miss Candy called in last week and asked you about recruiting, and you gave 6 names. And since I'm an old retired high school coach, I go really in-depth on the computer with things. And these 6 young ladies that we've got coming in are impressive. I'm excited about next year. And if I have time, I'd like to say something about each one of them if there's time for me to.
You gotta. I'm looking at them right now myself, but breeze through pretty quick. Give us some quick thoughts, Bama Raj.
Okay, Kyra Lockhart's coming in from Duluth, Georgia, but her sophomore and junior year, she was Miss New Jersey home run queen, both her sophomore and junior years. Kendall Beth Sides from Dover, Alabama, she led or helped to lead Summerton Christian to 2A state title, and she's a Demi Turner clone. I mean, she is a leadoff hitter. She's got speed, and she's also plays second base. And from Linwood, Washington, we've got Maddie Morgan coming. She plays third base, shortstop, second base, first base, and she's a catcher. Along with being a power hitter, she has got a powerful arm from third base and shortstop. Then the left-handed pitcher we got coming in, Madison Preston. She hit a 2-run homer in the 7th inning in the championship game, and she also pitched that game to lead her team to the state title. And from Madisonville, North Hopkins High School is another power hitter, Kaylee Towle, the 3A Player of the Year there in Kentucky. In 124 bats, she had 20 home runs, 16 doubles, 3 triples, 28 singles, and she was walked 18 times. And Ryan I. Murray's father coaches at Florida Southwestern, where Courtney Giddings is coming, and she's originally from Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, and her record this past year while pitching was 35-1. Thank you, Gary. Good to see y'all back.
Bama Rod's great call. Rodney, you found your softball recruiting analyst for Tider Insider.
Yeah, I tell you what a fantastic job. And I tell you, it sounds like they're really adding some pop to that offense. And you know, that's why Patrick Murphy was really excited a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Bama Rods was prepared. Great stuff. All right, let's go to Argo and talk with Bill. Bill, welcome into the program. Hey, Bill, turn your TV down, man.
She's originally from Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, and her record this past year.
All right, he's going to catch us on delay here, I think. Bill, you with us?
Thank you, Gary. Good to be right back.
Okay, Bill, listen, if you're listening to me, all right, Bill, you with us?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, make sure you turn your television down. You'll be on a little bit of a delay.
I got it down.
Yeah, what you got going, buddy?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, okay, yeah, I'd like to say something about this softball team.
Okay.
Those girls that would strike out trying to hit the ground, they're that bad.
Do what now?
The other teams I noticed that Ole Miss and A&M, they were laughing at them. Those girls just don't know what they're doing.
You talking about Alabama?
I'm talking about Alabama, softball girls trying to hit the ball.
Okay. Well, this was a team that advanced to the Super Regional and came within a run of getting to the College World Series, Bill. So.
Well, think about it. Who got them there? The pitchers.
Okay. Well.
That's who got them there. And if they had a little bit of backing, they'd have won the series.
Yeah.
But they ain't got no backing.
Well, as Bama Rod just said, they got some big sticks coming in. Bill, let me tell you this. I've heard a lot this year about the hitting, and I've even been critical at times. But I looked at the numbers, Rodney. It really wasn't that much difference in the previous season. And I'll say this, and we've said it before. When you got a coach like Patrick Murphy, he's raised the bar. I trust that they're going to get the hitting woes, if you want to call them that, fixed. They dealt with some injuries. The man can coach hitting. They've had great hitters here in the past. Haley McClenny, who just finished up last year, one of the greatest hitters in the history of NCAA softball. We'll see, but I think they're going to be really strong.
A lot of this competition, too, in the SEC, Gary, I mean, their pitching's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they made a lot of hitters look pretty bad. And, again, I understand what he's saying, but it certainly looks like they're adding a lot of pop to the lineup there.
Yeah, Kelly Kretschmann, one of the greatest hitters in the history of professional softball, played for Patrick Murphy at Alabama as well. All right, coming up, a strong Alabama contingent at this week's U.S. Open. We'll let you know who's taking to the course. And more phone calls, emails, and tweets. Again, lines are open at 205-348-9882. You can email us at TITV@WVUA23.com, or you can tweet at us using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right back after this. 4 former Crimson Tide golfers will be competing in the U.S. Open up in Wisconsin this week. Justin Thomas will try to build on what has already been a fabulous season. He'll be joined by former teammate Trey Mullinax as well as Bud Colley. Both of them qualified for the Open a couple of weeks ago. Also making his pro debut, Drew Love, who just finished up his eligibility at Alabama this year. He qualified as well. His dad, Davis Love III, will be on the bag for him. The U.S. Open starts Thursday morning. All right, let's get right back to the phone lines. Reg is with us in Beeham. Go ahead, Reg.
Yes, I was just thinking when you mentioned that you thought as Coach Saban would coach for several more years.
Right.
You know, people nationwide really don't realize what a great coach he really is. For this reason, he took Alabama when they were really in the doldrums, on probation. He couldn't keep a good coach. One coach getting in trouble in a nightclub in Florida. Just a total mess this program was in. And this guy came in and turned it over and turned it around in 2 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
He had him on top.
Yeah.
Any comments on that, my friends?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, Reg. He's the best coach in college football. He came into a program that was somewhat in disarray, hadn't beat Auburn in 5 years. They did run that to 6 his first year, but in 2008, they went 12-0, lost a heartbreaker in the SEC championship game to Florida. The next year, they won the national championship. I don't know what else I can say to add to what you just said, Rodney. He's done an unbelievable job, and yes, took it over when it wasn't on top.
Great marriage, because you're talking about a program that obviously has the great tradition and all the things to offer that Alabama does. And as you mentioned, as Reg mentioned, certainly they'd gone awry over the last several years, but perfect coach for the perfect situation.
All right, good call from Reg in Birmingham. Let's get to a tweet. We encourage those tweets from J. Nick Sissa. What are the chances that Tua Tagovailoa gets a red shirt? Slim and none, I think, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I think he's going to play. And if he doesn't beat Jalen Hurts out, which I don't think he will, he'll be the backup and I don't see a scenario under which he's going to redshirt.
I agree with you. I mean, especially when you look at the numbers here, all the quarterbacks that defected after this past season, they've got 2 true freshmen behind Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, they're going to need him. All right, CW is with us over in Hamilton. What's up, CW?
Okay, Gary and Rodney, enjoy your show.
Thank you.
I think you should make it an hour during the football season.
All right,
but
CW.
my question is, with the recruiting down thus far, what do you think the prospects of another #1 class this year? I'll hang up and listen.
Well, CW, look, Alabama's, they're loaded. Gary, time will tell. I'm not sure, though, that this past recruiting class wasn't the best class that Saban's had in terms of if you just look at it coming in on paper. I mean, this class is loaded with the young talent that they already had. And I think that obviously they're going to recruit extremely well. I think the keys to me, as I look at it from the outside, would be defensive line in the secondary. And I think they'll probably do really well in those areas. I think they'll do well in other areas. They've already got guys that I think they're in good position with. Whether it's a #1 class or not, I really don't know. I think to some extent that's overrated. But I think Alabama will recruit extremely well.
All right. I know Jimmy is holding from Birmingham, but we have got to get to the break because we're up against it. We'll be back with more TITV right after this. Less is more for Eddie Lacy. The Seahawks running back is richer by being lighter. He passed his second weigh-in this week, coming in at under 250 pounds, thereby earning another $55,000. The 27-year-old Alabama product signed a one-year deal with the Seahawks in March, which includes 7 monthly weigh-in incentives designed to keep him under 250 pounds. The team wants Lacy under 250 throughout the summer and under 245 for the season. I'll tell you what, I think this guy is ready to tear it up. And the Golden State Warriors held off LeBron James and the Cavs for the NBA championship last night. Now, how does that relate to Alabama football? Well, since the 2010-2011 season, LeBron James has only won an NBA championship when Alabama has won the National Football Championship just months before. So King James apparently owes a lot of his success to King Saban. How about that one? Only here on TITV. And our beautiful shirts and ties tonight provided by the Locker Room in downtown Tuscaloosa, home of the original elephant wear. Go by and see Alex Gatewood and his staff in person or shop online at locker-room.biz. For Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for watching TITV. Good night, everybody.